Hello, my name is Camila and we're going to talk to you about Hitler. This is Natalia, and this is Max, and this is Irie. I'm going to talk to you about Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a man who lived a rough childhood, and along the years that he started to grow up, he began to think about different things in his life, like how would the German nation be. So he started to get this belief of his nation, of the German nation, which started because he didn't have a lot of success in his social life and artistic life too, because sadly he wanted and he aspired to be a painter, but when he tried to prove his talent going to an Academy of Arts in Vienna, he got rejected by them because they didn't consider his art part of something cultural. So this made Hitler think things more deeply and started wondering about other possibilities about his nation, which led him to have ideas like the anti-Semitism, which was about the races or the pure race that was about just one citizenship, about, for example, in this case, the Jews.
At this stage was when he started his journey to transform into a German politic. And he started this by joining the Workers' Party at 1921, and he took over of all the thing and renamed it as the Nazi Party. He tried to convince all the people to follow him, but he was in prison. And in the prison, he wrote a book named My Kampf, or in English, My Struggle. So when he went out of prison, he started taking over all Germany to expand his beliefs. And as my partner can say, he started attacking the Jews because he thought they were a pure race but pure evil.
And besides that, he had this main idea because there was once an incident when a German minister was assassinated, and since the Germans were too panicked or too alarmed to figure out who was the killer, they blamed it on the Jews. So this was when they started thinking bad and had a lot of bad concepts about them, and which led to put them in a minor situation in the.
I'm going to talk to you about the political ideologies of Hitler. Hitler wanted to develop a totalitarian state in order to meet his larger goal. Hitler believed that there was no pure race, but the strength of the Germanic race may be shaped by the admixture of other races. And Hitler ascribed the individualistic party spirit of the Germans to this fact. Hitler joined the National Socialist German Worker Party, NSDAP, or Nazi for short. The Nazi Party wanted to unify Germany under the collective purpose. Nazi ideology can be defined in 4 parts: expansion, racial purity, power, and militarism. Hitler and the Nazis argued that the German strength existed in its Aryan race, which they saw as the perfect race, and superior to all others. The Nazis established the racial ideology that viewed racial impurity as threatening to this Germanic perfection. For the Nazis, the Jewish people were the embodiment of racial imperfection, and people of the Judaic faith were categorized as having alien blood. They created concentration camps where they put everyone that was part of the Jews, of the impure race, to either work or just send them to their death. There is the 2 types of camps: the concentration camps where they worked and were imprisoned, and the death camps where they send them to their death. Now the economic ideology. Not only Hitler was not a socialist himself, nor a communist, but he actually hated these ideologies, and he did his utmost to eradicate them. At first, This enveloped organizing bands of the thugs to attack socialists in the streets, but grew into invading Russia in part of the slave to slave the population and earn living room for Germans, and in part to wipe out communism and Bolshevism. The key element here is what Hitler believed. He believed and tried to create Nazism. Confused as it was fundamental and ideology about race. It's more like capitalism, but a little bit strange. While socialism was entirely different, built around classes and everything, the Nazism or capitalism, it's like private industries, but they were like overseen by the government.
And now my partner Max is going to talk to you about the events that Adolf Hitler did in World War II.
Thank you, Camille. Hitler's participation in the World War II was maybe the greatest of all the war. First of all, he enslaved all Germany and forced them to battle for the swastika and the Nazis. Then he started to lock down all the Jews in concentration camps where they were slaves and then they were killed. Then he joined forces with the Japanese Empire and started a war with the United States, Russia, French, the UK. He locked two foreign Jewish soldiers from those countries.
So Germany wasn't good in World War II, and neither was Hitler. They had to fight other countries and control the Jewish in their own country. In June 1944, the Western Allied Army surrounded Germany and started to push German backs towards Berlin. By July of that same year, the German military commanders acknowledged their defeat and wanted to remove Hitler from the power to get peace. Their attempts failed, and in revenge, Hitler executed over 4,000 countrymen. In January 1945, the Soviets seized Berlin, and Hitler left to live to his bunker for the rest of his days. This bunker was 55 feet under the Chancellery, and it had 18 rooms and its own electricity and water. He continued to give orders from down there and marry his mistress Eva Braun. 2 days after the wedding, April 30, Hitler committed suicide by swallowing a cyanide capsule and shooting himself in the head when he was in his bunker. His wife and his body were creamed. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered and leaving for the Allied power to decide how to divide Germany. 60 million people were killed in World War II. 5 million were German and 6 million were Jewish. Germany signed the unconditional surrender. 12 million Germans were refugees looking for a place to live, most of them in the East that was under the rule of Soviets. The Nazi Germany persecuted a lot of people, among them were the Jewish, homosexuals, political opponents, and others. After the war, the Soviet Red Army and the Allied powers liberated the concentration camps and tried to bring justice. At the Jalta and Potsdam Conference in 1945, USA, Russia, and Great Britain planned this sanification and for Germany. These countries, France included, shared the administration of Germany. They divided Germany into 4 zones, and also Berlin, that was the capital, it was also divided in 4. On May the 23rd, in 1949, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, was found on the model of Western democracy. The German Democratic Republic, also known as the East Germany, was occupied by the Soviets, ruled into a Soviet-style socialist state. Germany was now divided in 2. The Berlin Wall was built by the Soviet GDR in August 1961. The fall of the wall in 1989 was the beginning of the German reunification 44 years after the end of the Second World War. Everyone knows that Hitler did a lot of bad things and that he violated most of human rights. For example, Article 3, that established that everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security. Most Jews were sent to concentration or death camps, where they were killed or tortured. Torture is also a violation of a human right. Article 5, that says that no one can be submitted to torture or any kind of punishment. Article 15 was also violated, that says that every person has the right to a nationality. Jews weren't recognized by Germans even though they were born in Germany.